Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. Franklin used to think mornings were harmless. He'd wake up around 6:30, rub the sleep from his eyes, and head straight to the kitchen. Coffee came first. Maybe a bite of toast, maybe not. His blood pressure pills sat near the sink, but he often told himself, I'll take them after breakfast, and sometimes he forgot altogether. He didn't drink water first. He didn't stretch. He didn't check his blood pressure unless he was already feeling off. He believed that if he kept his routine mostly the same, he'd be fine. He thought he was being careful. He thought wrong. It was a Tuesday morning when everything changed. Franklin's body moved on autopilot out of bed toward the kitchen. The house was quiet, the same as always. But something felt off. He reached for a glass to pour his coffee and froze. His left arm, it wasn't working. The glass slipped from his fingers and shattered on the floor. Before he could even shout for help, his knees gave out and he collapsed hard onto the tile. The dizziness was crushing. His heart pounded. His mind scrambled to find the name of his daughter, the last number he dialed. He couldn't remember either. But somehow, his thumb managed to press the red button on the emergency wrist device she had forced him to wear last weekend. That button saved his life. At the hospital, after the tests and scans and long white hallways, the doctor looked at him and said, Mr. Franklin, you just had a TIA, a mini stroke. There's no permanent damage, but this was a warning. Franklin blinked. I take my meds. I go for walks. I eat okay. Why did this happen? The doctor paused. Then he asked gently, Can I ask what your mornings usually look like? Franklin shrugged. I get up. I drink coffee. Sometimes I take my pill. That's about it. The doctor nodded slowly. The most dangerous time of day for people over 60 is the first 30 minutes after waking up, he said. It's when blood pressure spikes, when your body is dehydrated, and when stress hormones surge. And if you're not careful, that's when strokes like this one happen. Franklin sat silently as those words landed. He hadn't been unlucky. He had been unaware. Before he left the hospital, the same doctor handed him a small folded paper. 8 habits, he said. Start with 1 or 2. These aren't fancy or expensive, but if you stick with them, they could cut your stroke risk in half. Franklin took the list home. He stared at it that night, sitting alone at his kitchen table. The words were simple. Drink water. Breathe. Eat differently. But the meaning behind them felt huge. He looked down at the tile floor, still faintly marked where the glass had shattered. Then he looked at the list again. I can't undo what happened. He whispered to no one, but I won't make the same mistake twice. Morning 1. He woke earlier than usual. The sunlight peeked through the blinds, and for the first time Franklin didn't roll out of bed and stumble toward the coffee pot. Instead, he reached for the bottle of water he'd placed on his nightstand the night before. Room temperature. No flavor. But it felt right. He sipped slowly, sitting up in bed. His heart felt calm, his body a little lighter. Then with the list beside him, he did something he hadn't done in 40 years. He sat still, closed his eyes, and began to breathe. In for 4 seconds. Hold. Out for 4 seconds. Repeat. It felt strange at first, this kind of quiet. But 5 minutes passed, and he opened his eyes with a new kind of clarity. For the first time in years, he wasn't starting the day in a rush. In the kitchen, he didn't make toast. Instead, he boiled an egg, made a small bowl of oatmeal, sliced a banana, sprinkled a spoonful of chia seeds on top. No sugar, no salt, just food that nourished. As he sat by the window, eating his new breakfast, he realized something strange. He didn't miss the bacon. He didn't crave coffee. He felt peaceful. After breakfast, Franklin took a short walk around his backyard. The orange tree in the corner had begun to bloom. A breeze stirred the air. The sun warmed his face. 10 minutes. Slow steps. I used to sit all morning, he thought. No wonder my blood felt like sludge. Back inside, he stood in front of the mirror and began to stretch. Gentle neck rolls, shoulder shrugs. He felt ridiculous, but also lighter. No one told me tight shoulders could cut off blood flow to the brain, he muttered. What else didn't I know? That same morning, he did something he hadn't done in months. He took out his blood pressure monitor, wrapped it around his arm, pressed start. The numbers blinked, then held steady, still a little high, but better than expected. He logged them in a small notebook. Every number is a story he wrote. A warning or a celebration. I want more of the latter. The rest of the week, he kept going. He added avocado to his toast one morning, a spoonful of pumpkin seeds to his oatmeal another, yogurt with berries on Sunday. Small things, but they mattered. Potassium, magnesium, protein, fiber. He didn't need to understand every detail to know his body was healing. And his pills, no more forgetting. He took them right after his morning water before breakfast, before anything, every day. No exceptions. 1 month later, Franklin sat in his doctor's office again. The young man smiled as he looked over the charts. You're doing everything right, Mr. Franklin. Keep going. Franklin nodded, then laughed softly. I used to think the stroke came out of nowhere, he said. But it didn't. It came from all the little things I skipped each morning. Later that week, Franklin did something unexpected. He went to the local senior center, printed out 10 copies of the same list that had changed his life, and offered to share his story. Not the scary part, the real part. The part where he learned to slow down, drink water, breathe, and respect the quiet hours of the morning. Soon, a small group began to meet at the park every Tuesday. They called it the Morning Circle. They stretched, walked, swapped breakfast ideas, laughed over tea, and every single one of them started waking up a little earlier and a little more alive. Franklin never became a fitness guru. He didn't take up yoga. He still loved crossword puzzles more than kale. But every morning, before the world got noisy, he took care of himself first. He drank water. He breathed. He moved. He ate with intention. And he never skipped his medication. He learned that the smallest mistake, the ones we dismiss, can be the ones that nearly end us. But they can also be the ones that, when corrected, save us.
Franklin's experience, though personal, highlights a much broader issue, the underestimation of seemingly insignificant daily habits. The doctor's 8 habits weren't groundbreaking medical revelations, but rather a collection of simple, accessible actions. This begs the question, why are these fundamental aspects of well-being so often overlooked, particularly in the context of preventative healthcare for older adults? Are there systemic barriers preventing the widespread adoption of such straightforward practices? Or is it simply a matter of individual awareness and motivation? Let's delve into the science, the societal influences, and the psychological factors that either encourage or hinder these life-saving morning rituals. The science behind the doctor's recommendations is surprisingly robust. Let's break down each habit and explore the physiological mechanisms at play. 1. Hydration. Drink water. The human body is composed of approximately 55% to 78% water, depending on factors such as age, sex, and body composition. This water is crucial for countless bodily functions, including regulating blood pressure, transporting nutrients, and flushing out toxins. During sleep, the body loses water through respiration, perspiration, and metabolic processes. This leads to a state of mild dehydration upon waking, which can thicken the blood and increase the risk of blood clots. A 2008 study published in the journal Hypertension found that even mild dehydration can significantly elevate blood pressure in individuals with pre-existing hypertension. This effect is particularly pronounced in the morning, when cortisol, levels of stress hormone that can also raise blood pressure, are naturally at their peak. Drinking water first thing in the morning helps to rehydrate the body, thin the blood, and lower blood pressure. It also kickstarts the digestive system and can improve alertness and cognitive function. The recommendation of room temperature water is also significant. Cold water can sometimes shock the system and cause blood vessels to constrict, potentially negating some of the benefits. 2. Breathing exercises. Stress is a major contributor to high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. Chronic stress leads to the overproduction of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which can constrict blood vessels, increase heart rate, and promote inflammation. Deep breathing exercises, such as the 4, 7, and 8 technique, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as the rest and digest system. This activation helps to counteract the effects of stress by slowing the heart rate, lowering blood pressure, and promoting relaxation. A meta-analysis of studies published in the Journal of the American Heart Association in 2014 concluded that regular deep breathing exercises can significantly reduce blood pressure in individuals with hypertension. Furthermore, deep breathing improves oxygenation of the blood, which can boost energy levels and improve cognitive function. 3. Mindful movement and stretching. Prolonged inactivity, particularly during sleep, can lead to stiffness and reduced blood flow. Gentle stretching and movement in the morning helps to loosen muscles, improve circulation, and increase flexibility. This is particularly important for older adults who are more prone to stiffness and mobility issues. Stretching increases blood flow to the muscles and brain, delivering vital oxygen and nutrients. It also helps to release endorphins, which have mood-boosting effects. Moreover, mindful movement such as yoga or Tai Chi can reduce stress and improve balance, further reducing the risk of falls, a significant concern for older adults. A study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine found that regular Tai Chi practice can significantly reduce blood pressure and improve balance in older adults with hypertension. 4. Balanced breakfast. The typical Western breakfast, often laden with processed carbohydrates, sugar, and saturated fats, can contribute to a spike in blood sugar and insulin levels, followed by a subsequent crash. This can lead to fatigue, irritability, and increased cravings for unhealthy foods. A balanced breakfast, on the other hand, provides sustained energy and helps to regulate blood sugar levels. Focusing on whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and lean protein provides the body with essential nutrients, fiber, and antioxidants. Fiber helps to slow the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, preventing blood sugar spikes. Potassium, found in foods like bananas and spinach, helps to regulate blood pressure. Magnesium, found in foods like nuts and seeds, also plays a role in blood pressure control and cardiovascular health. Furthermore, a protein-rich breakfast helps to promote satiety and prevent overeating later in the day. 5. Medication adherence. For individuals with chronic conditions like hypertension, taking medication as prescribed is crucial for managing their health. Skipping medication, even occasionally, can lead to fluctuations in blood pressure and increase the risk of cardiovascular events, as Franklin experienced. Forgetting to take medication in the morning is a common issue, particularly for older adults who may have complex medication regimens. Establishing a routine, such as taking medication immediately after drinking water, can help to improve adherence. Using pill organizers, setting reminders on a phone or calendar, and involving family members or caregivers can also be effective strategies. Mix blood pressure monitoring. Regularly monitoring blood pressure allows individuals to track their progress and identify potential problems early on. This empowers them to make informed decisions about their lifestyle and medication. Home blood pressure monitors are readily available and relatively inexpensive. The American Heart Association recommends taking blood pressure readings at the same time each day, ideally in the morning and evening. It's also important to record the readings and share them with a healthcare provider who can use the information to adjust medication or recommend lifestyle changes. 7. Sunlight exposure. Exposure to sunlight in the morning helps to regulate the body's natural sleep-wake cycle, also known as the circadian rhythm. Sunlight stimulates the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that regulates mood, appetite, and sleep. It also helps to suppress the production of melatonin, a hormone that promotes sleepiness. Disruptions to the circadian rhythm, such as those caused by shift work or jet lag, can increase the risk of various health problems, including cardiovascular disease. Spending time outdoors in the morning, even for a short period, can help to synchronize the circadian rhythm and improve sleep quality. 8. Social connection. Loneliness and social isolation are major risk factors for cardiovascular disease and other health problems, particularly in older adults. Social interaction provides emotional support, reduces stress, and promotes a sense of belonging. Joining a group like the Morning Circle, as Franklin did, can provide opportunities for social connection and engagement. Participating in community activities, volunteering, and staying in touch with family and friends are also important for maintaining social well-being.
Health 2660. Thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, be kind to yourself.